Good afternoon. It is 6 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, and it is time for Bike Church. I hope y'all have had as good a weekend as I have had. We celebrated birthday yesterday for a couple of people, one of my grandchildren, and that same grandchild's her other granddaddy. His birthday is today, so we mostly celebrated her birthday, but he was here and we celebrated him too. So we had a real good time. Didn't have a huge crowd, but we had a real good time. We had, we had cake and cupcakes and punch and chips and dip and cocktail weenies and I don't know what all else we had, but we had a lot of good stuff. It was real good, a lot of fun, lots of cute presents. Lyra has her first bike, and Mimi said she wanted she was looking for a basket to go on her bike, and so I'm going to see if I can't help Mimi find a basket for Lyra's bike, so when she rides, she can put her babies in there and take them for a ride. And so we just had a real good weekend, and it's always fun to have a party and celebrate somebody, or that's the way I feel. So I hope your weekend was as good as mine, enjoyable as mine. And had a good time at church this morning, had a good service. We went to Lifeline, and I have decided to join Lifeline. I've been friends with a lot of the people there for a long time, and I've been going as a visitor, but I felt like several weeks ago the Lord was talking to me about some things, and basically He told me it was time to join another church. And so I have joined up with Lifeline. They're excellent. They've just a lot of good people. Very friendly, very kind. They do all kinds of outreach to the local communities, and they're just a good Bible believing group. And I know that I'm going to enjoy being a member there, and I'm going to learn a lot. And I hope I will be able to serve as much as possible. Now that doesn't mean I'm not still going to be visiting churches in the area with Miss Doris when I have her, but my membership will be with Lifeline. I feel like that's where the Lord wants me. And I feel like He's got things still in store for me, and I believe He's got things in store for the church, and I just want to be a part of what He wants. So, and speaking of that, we will be starting a new Bible study, and this time we're going to study the book of Revelation, and I believe it's not tomorrow, but we'll have the first meeting about it, I believe, a week from tomorrow. And it's going to be a pretty in-depth study. If you want more information about that, let me know and I'll talk to you. They're still in the process of getting all the details ironed out and everything, but I know it's going to be good. I love studying Revelation, and I hope I'll be able to. I know I'll be able to learn something, and I hope maybe I'll be able to share some of the things that Randy and I have discovered, because Randy used to love to teach Revelation. But anyway, tonight I'm going to read you Psalms 127. I have just been thinking about my children and my grandchildren this weekend. Besides Lyra, we got some of the other grandbabies were here yesterday, and they're not babies, but they're my babies. And some of my kids were here, and of course they're not kids, but they're my kids. And if you're a parent and a grandparent, you know what I'm talking about. They can be 60 years old, and you're still going to want to take care of them and love on them and everything. And right now, if one of my kids felt like they needed to climb up in my lap and sit down, we would do what we could do to make sure that happened. I remember the year that Mama and Daddy celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary, and Jimmy and Lee and I gave them a little party, and lots of people came. One of my favorite pictures is after we had changed clothes, we'd gotten through celebrating and we were cleaning up, and I had put a t-shirt and blue jeans on, and I sat down. They were taking different casual pictures, and I sat down and I told Mom, I said, come here and sit in my lap. And she said, what? I said, come sit in my lap. So she sat on my lap, and I got a picture of that, and that's one of my favorite pictures of us, because it was fun. It was something different. I couldn't sit in her lap because she was always so tiny and everything, but she could sure sit in my lap. And so I'm glad I got that done, and I'm glad I've got it here at the house somewhere. But anyway, thinking about your children and your grandchildren should always be a happy thing. And even when there are sad things going on, you've got good memories. And I know you want to pray for your children and grandchildren like I pray for mine, probably, maybe even more, I don't know. But it's a good thing to pray for your kids and your grandkids. And I will remind you this now. If you raise your children right, if you raise them to be good, smart adults that make wise decisions, you should always love the person that they fall in love with and marry. Because you raise them to make smart decisions, and you raise them to be good people, and they're not going to make a bad decision and choose the wrong person. And so you should love those in-loves, because that's what I call mine. I have 2 daughters in love, and I'm just as crazy about them. I know I'm not their mama, but I'm as crazy about them as I can be. I know they are perfect for my sons. Quiet. They are perfect for my sons, and our family is blessed to have them. And they are perfect for my sons, and they're both good mamas and good wives. And I have a good son-in-law, and he is excellent. He takes care of his family. He loves them and does the best thing that he can do for them, and I'm proud of him. And the others, we're working on it. we're working on having more daughters and sons in love, not in law, but in love. I love mine, and I pray for them, just like I pray for my children that I gave birth to or that I brought in from marriage. And so I would encourage you to do that as well. And you love those kids, love those kids' spouses like they're yours. And one of the best things my mama ever did was she told me when I got married, she says, now I'm not going to take your side in arguments. She said, you've got a good husband. And she says, I'm not going to always take your side in arguments, which I tried not to go to her much, but I knew what she was saying, that she was going to point out to me if I ever got irritated at Randy, she was going to point out to me that I had a good husband, I'd have made a smart decision, and even if I was irritated with him right now, we were going to be able to work that out. And that was a good thing, and I try to be that way with mine. So, anyway, love your children and your grandchildren and your in-loves. Okay, Psalms 127, and it's titled, The Blessing of the Lord. And then the subtitle is A Song of Ascents of Solomon. Unless the Lord builds a house, its builders labor over it in vain. Unless the Lord watches over a city, the watchman stays alert in vain. In vain you get up early and stay up late, working hard to have enough food. Yes, he gives sleep to the one he loves. In other words, if you're not going to put God as part of your house, your home, it will never be as successful as it can be, because God needs to be the very first thing, the most important thing. It should be God, and then the parents, and then the children. And so we have to have the Lord in our home, in our home life. And the same way with the city, unless the Lord watches over a city, the watchman stays alert in vain. They can watch all they want to, but if the Lord's not watching out for them, the watchmen are not doing any good. Okay, verse 3. Sons are indeed a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the sons born of one's youth. Happy is the man who has filled his quiver with them. They will never be put to shame when they speak with their enemies at the city gate. And I know that says sons, but God gives us children as blessings. There's not a place in the Bible, I don't know of a place in the Bible, and I've looked, that says God sent somebody a child as a punishment. And I know there are people who think that a woman who has a baby and is not married, did God punish her with that baby? No, ma'am. That's not correct. Those children are a blessing. Now, sometimes it can be hard to recognize that, but those children are a blessing. And I defy anybody to say something ugly about those children. I will fight you over that, and I don't care if I know the children or not. I will fight you over that. Children are a blessing. You have to sometimes... it can come disguised as having to do a lot of extra hard work, or maybe some financial situations that you have to deal with. But children are always a blessing. Always, always, always. You have to have God's mind on that, but they are always a blessing. So let me read that again, because that's good, and one time's not enough. Unless the Lord builds a house, its builders labor over it in vain. Unless the Lord watches over a city, the watchman stays alert in vain. In vain you get up early and stay up late, working hard to have enough food. Yes, he gives sleep to the one he loves. Sons are indeed a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are the sons born in one's youth. Happy is the man who has filled his quiver with them. They will never be put to shame when they speak with their enemies at the city gate. And, that was the city gates, kind of like going to Walmart now. You ran into pretty much everybody at the city gates. And if you were blessed and honored with children, your enemies might say bad things about you, but they couldn't disparage you because of your children. And that's what that's talking about. They will never be put to shame when they speak with their enemies at the city gate. Their enemies have to listen to them. And I don't know about you. I don't believe I have any enemies. I don't. I have people that I'd rather not be around. I'm sure we all do, but I don't have any enemies. I don't have anybody that I wish harm to, or that something bad would happen to them. Any person I know could call me right now and say, Beth, I need you to come help, and I'm going to do what I can. It may not be that I run to them and hug their necks, but I'm going to be kind to them, and I'm going to help them. And I may have to grit my teeth while I'm doing it, but that's okay too. In fact, this week I was telling somebody that this must be my week to run into people that are people that I don't see very often, and I don't see eye to eye with. I'll put it that way. And I've run into 3 different groups of people, and the Lord was gracious. The first one, I went into the bathroom and I said, Lord, please help me to be kind. Help me not to be rude and ugly. Help me to speak to them and remember who I belong to. And I was able to do that. And the second one, I saw the people, but they didn't see me. And so that was the Lord keeping me from having to bite my tongue not to say something. Because, all of us can get in a bad spot. And the third was about the same as a group of people. And I could have dealt with them. And I could have dealt with them graciously and kindly. Because, again, I'm not going to be ugly to anybody if I can help it. But he kept me from having to. So, and God will do that. But now I'm going to tell you, sometimes he's going to make you, they talk about how, I know you've seen the meme that says the Holy Spirit will make you run and dance and shout, but it'll also make you sit down and hush and behave. And God keeps us humble if we allow him to. He will make sure that we're not getting too big for our britches. And I want him to continue to do that. I want him to remind me who I am and who I belong to and what I'm supposed to be, and that I represent somebody, that everything I say and do, whether it's public or private, represents him. Not just me, but represents him. I carry the Rogers name, and I don't want to bring dishonor to that, but I also carry the name of Jesus, and I don't want to misrepresent that. I don't want to bring dishonor to that. And sometimes I have to think hard about that to remember, because sometimes I want to let my mouth run, and you have to be real careful. You have to be real careful, because you can't take words back. And when you say something to somebody that hears, they're going to remember that. The person, you may go and work out your differences with the person that you spoke strongly to, but other people that are listening, they may not get that opportunity, and that may be what sticks in their mind. So I don't know why I'm telling you that, other than we all need to pray before we speak, because we don't want to say something we have to eat later. And we certainly don't want to say something or do something that's going to bring dishonor to God. So that's all I have tonight. Be reading the next chapter in John sometime in the next few days. I think we're up to John 11. Let me look. Let's see. I believe that's right. John. Oh, that's right. John 11. Probably do that in the morning. So anyway, I hope y'all had a great weekend. I hope you have a good week. And I will see you soon.